Anna Maria Marconi, because she's awesome. Who wouldn't fall in love with Anna Maria Marconi? She is great. Anna's beautiful, and the thing about when you think about Peter Parker, I wanted to have this big change in the life of what makes Otto different from Peter. And when you read all the Otto Octavius stories of his background, of his growing up, of who he was, and even as Doc Ock, all the women he falls in love with, he sees them for who they are inside. You know, look at Stunner. Look at like all these other like nerdy girls he was dating as Otto. I think that's something that Otto does better than Peter, is he sees people who are truly beautiful, and loves them for that. And you look at everyone that Peter has fallen in love with, and every single one of them is superficially beautiful on the outside. And the reason for that is they were all created by like John Romita Sr., who drew every woman beautiful. You know, what guy wouldn't fall for Gwen Stacy or Mary Jane, or even if he falls in love with like a Deb Whitman? Yeah, she's the girl with glasses, but she's the girl with glasses who can suddenly take off the glasses and whip out the hair. You know, that everyone Peter falls in love with is so classically beautiful. And to me, that's anti-Marvel. To me, the Marvel Universe isn't about perfect people. To me, the Marvel Universe, the thing that makes it so much better than any other superhero universe, is the Marvel Universe is the book about people with feet of clay. Like when I read DC Comics, my favorite DC characters that I love the most are the most fucked up ones. I like the guys that you feel like they could fit in the Marvel Universe, like the Doom Patrol, the classic Doom Patrol, or the Creeper. You guys ever see Ultra the Multi-Alien? Ultra the Multi-Alien is the stupidest character ever created, and holy crap, I would love to write him. He is Ace Arn, this astronaut, who gets captured by these 4 different aliens. One made up of electricity, one is a hawk, one is blue and weird and controls magnetic stuff, one is green and scaly and has pointy ears and looks goblinish. And they all get bombarded by radiation when they're all attacking the Earth astronaut Ace Arn, and he gets all 4 of the aliens' powers, but his body is split into quarters. So this leg is electric, and this leg is like a hawk, and this leg is blue and muscular, and this is green and slimy, and he's Ultra, the multi-alien. And I go, you're a freak. And then I go, how do you pee? You know, that always bugged me. You got like half electric junk, you know, half bird junk. It just doesn't work. I love him so much. I love it. So like, I like all those guys and Batman, because you have to like Batman. Batman would so work in the Marvel Universe. It would so work. But and when I've written DC before, and when you're writing DC, it's fun because you get to write the icons. You get to write Flash and Batman and Wonder Woman. But I connect more with the Marvels. You know, a DC character is the alien who fell from space and raised like the perfect American in Kansas, who fights for truth and justice and perfect teeth. You know, and a Marvel character is the guy down the block that you kind of know, and now he has the powers of a spider, and that's weird. You know, life is not what you want. Life is what you get. And the Marvel Universe that's the heroes. They're these weird, ragtag, bizarre guys that always screw up and always make mistakes. They do things that, like, you know, people want Spider-Man to be perfect. No, Spider-Man isn't perfect, and that's the fun of it. Spider-Man's a guy, no matter what he does and how he tries, no matter how hard he tries, he'll get a little kind of victory, but he's always screwing up, like us, you know? And that's the fun of it. Well, since we're doing questions, I was just going to ramble. Yeah.
What is the one question that you've never been asked that you wish someone would ask you about your Spider-Man experiences? Wow. I'm sure there's something you've been dying to talk about and nobody's asked. Wow. That is such a cheap question. I know. I've got a complete blank.
To me, the weirdest thing about Spider-Man is it's like I was saying, you know, life isn't what you want, life is what you get. All my life I wanted to write Spider-Man. And you know, with any wish you have, you always get the monkey's paw. That's the rule of life. You always, even when you get what you want, you don't get it the way you want it. And a big part of growing up is realizing that can be, that's cool. That's okay. You know, it's hard to complain about writing Spider-Man when I could be like, you know, moving boxes or digging ditches. It's a great job. The thing is, like, you know, are you happy working on Spider-Man? Yes, I'm very happy working on Spider-Man. But I always wished I could just do one issue a month. Just one issue. Finally tune it. Take all the time in the world I want on it. Do one, like, I am so happy with every issue of Silver Surfer. You know, everything get to tighten every screw. But with Spider-Man coming out 3 times a month or coming out 2 times a month, I'm always working on like 3 Spider-Man stories at the same time with 3 different art teams. And I'm writing chapter 1 of this story with you. I'm writing chapter 2 of the second arc with you. I'm writing the first chapter of the third arc with you. And I have to know how all the subplots go through all 3 issues. So I'm writing it like a giant puzzle at different times in different ways. And when you're working on a comic once a month, every month, organic things happen and you go, oh, that's cool, I want to explore that. But meanwhile, I've already written the next 3 stories at the same time at different stages. And it would be nice to write Spider-Man linearly and write it once a month. So it's this weird thing. Normally you're writing a comic, and if something weird happens and your train gets derailed, you put it back on the rails. We're going, we commit, and we jump off that cliff with Spider-Man because we know where we're going. We have to, for the book to come out in time. We have to just be a little more fearless and a little more faithful in what we're doing and stay true to the course we're on. On some levels it works. Like with Amazing Spider-Man 600, by the time that issue was done, I had committed myself to doing Superior Spider-Man. I'd committed myself to going, okay, we're going to do a long, slow burn with Doc Ock is dying, and by the end of that, he will switch brains with Spider-Man, and then we'll go into the Superior arc. Like, I knew all that from the moment I finished issue 600. I knew what issue 700 was going to be. Everyone goes, you planned it for 100. No, I didn't, because I did 600 when I was part of the Amazing Spider-Man Brand New Day team. So the way that worked was, and this is getting back to the whole what you want and how you get it. I'm not doing Spider-Man the way I would like to do Spider-Man, but I'm so happy I'm doing Spider-Man. And the flip side of it is, I know there's no other way on earth I could have gotten to do Spider-Man than the way I'm doing it. Just fate and where I was going on the path is the only way I could have gotten there. So I'm really happy about that. And that the price I pay is that I have to write Spider-Man out of sequence, and I have to do it, you know, way more times a month than I would like to just savor it. And instead I'm like, here's the next one, here's the next one, here's the next one. And at times that can get frantic and scary. And there are times when it gets so scary, I call up Chris Gage and I go write some issues with me. Please help the room, the colors. So it's kind of fun. But like when we were starting out, I remember hearing, I'd be in the room for Marvel corporate retreats and hearing JMS talking about where he was going with Spider-Man and also how he was leaving the book. He'd already was, by the time I was going to the meetings, he had already worked out One More Day with Joe Quesada, and he knew how the book was wrapping up. And I remember being in that room and so knowing, as the guy writing She-Hulk and who had just started writing Avengers, The Initiative, that I was so on the low totem for writing the iconic characters, for getting a chance to write Spider-Man or a chance to write the Avengers, that I remember hearing that. And when JMS was running through that, and I was thinking, thank God I'm not going to be the next guy writing Spider-Man. Jesus. You know, I was like, I never thought that would be me. And I thought, like, man, whoever's writing Spider-Man next, they're going to have a tough road, man. Doing that without Mary Jane, that's going to be tough. And I was like, and then it was me. So, but the way it all happened was I would be going to these retreats, and they liked the way I interacted with everyone, how I threw out ideas, and was pretty fearless with giving away gifts to other people, going like, well, what if you did your story like that, or have you thought about this, or and they just like that kind of giving. And they decided when Steve Wacker, the new editor for Spider-Man, was coming on, the reason we stole him from Marvel, he did a series. You guys ever read the original 52? He masterminded that on the editorial level, and he set up the machinery that allowed them to do the weekly comic. And Marvel had always thought, like, when you remember, companies are there to make money. Okay, so because you're going to hear this and go, oh man, Marvel was just out to make a buck. Well, they're a company. So they whenever they look at their sales, Amazing Spider-Man would do this well. And then any satellite book like Spectacular or Web would do this well. And they go, wouldn't it be great if all 3 Spider-Man books could sell this well? And every now and then someone would pitch the idea, why don't you just cancel Web or Sensational or Spectacular and just make every issue Amazing Spider-Man? And every time the editors would go, we're not doing that. And they went, look, Steve Wacker just did this on 52. Now's the time. There's a human being who can make this happen. And they went to Steve and they went, how would you like to go from 4 or 5 comics a month, once a week, to just putting out 3 comics once a month? And he was like, to him, that sounded like a vacation. So he was like, I could do that. So they brought him on to do the 3 times a month Spider-Man. But one of the things they wanted, they knew to do this, they were going to need more than one writer. They were going to need like 3 or 4 writers like they had on 52. They knew that they were going to need a writing team that was less a comic book writing team and more like a TV writing team. Getting all these guys in a room, having them all work together, and then different guys would take the lead and do 3 issues here and 2 issues there, 3 issues, 1 issue, and then we could get it on a 3 times a month schedule. And since they were going to have a writing team, they didn't want superstars. They didn't want, like Peter David, JMS, Brian Michael Bendis. They didn't want these guys they didn't want 3 superstars or 4 superstars working together because they didn't think the egos would match. They wanted people who could be in the room and be giving and work with each other and work like a team to get this 3 issues a month done. And they liked the way I'd been working in the summits, and they went, would you like to do this? Because I wasn't a big name yet, but I showed I could work like that in the room. And I was like, hell yeah. Yeah, I'll do. Do you want to do Spider-Man? Hell yeah, I want to do Spider-Man. And so it was me and Bob Gale, who wrote Back to the Future movies, Mark Guggenheim, who's now doing Arrow on TV, and Zeb Wells, who works on Robot Chicken. So they got the 4 of us together, and we were the Brand New Day team. And we would have all these meetings and be on long email trains and have long conference calls, and we'd all be throwing out ideas and working together, and it was crazy. And after a year and a half of that, 3 of our guys just were burnt out, and they were just like, I can't do this. It's too hard to do 3 a month and to get it all out and to keep up with these email chains and to keep up with all the continuity and to keep up with all the subplots. And it was a fun experiment. I'm gone. I loved working on it. Goodbye. And I was like, screw you. I'm not leaving. I'm on Spider-Man. So they brought in 3 new fresh guys. And they brought in Joe Kelly, and they brought in Fred Van Lente. He had been coming in and doing some inventory issues for us, and he'd been doing great. And they brought in Mark Waid, and suddenly we were the Brand New Day team. We were the next wave, and I was the one guy moving over. And eventually, a year and a half, those guys were getting burnt out. And I just assumed we all knew the goal was to do it for 100 issues, which was 3 years. So it's 3 years of putting out 3 issues of Spidey a month. It was tough. It was work. It's fun, but it's a lot of work. And I had wouldn't like a death grip. You could not get me off this book. I was so happy to work on it. I wanted to do 1 a month and be all cool about it, but I was happy to be doing Spidey. And then I just assumed when we went to 2 a month, because we'd been talking about doing that for a while, that the idea was you were going to revamp the whole thing. And I thought that meant all the writers would be wiped out. And they'd suddenly call up someone and go, hey, Ed Brubaker, hey, Matt Fraction, how would you like to write Spider-Man? Can you do it twice a month? I thought that was the plan. So in order to save my own skin, because I never wanted to stop writing Spider-Man, I knew we were going to go to 2 issues a month and a satellite book, which became Avenging Spider-Man. And I had a lunch with Steve Wacker, and I said to him, I want to make a pitch to you. I would like to wrap up my work on Brand New Day. I would like to be the guy working on Avenging Spider-Man. I would like to do Spidey once a month, and whatever the new guy is going to do, whatever his master plan is on Spider-Man, I will be a good soldier, and I will follow whatever he's doing. And Steve went, no, I don't want you on Avenging Spider-Man. And I was like, fuck. That's it. I'm off. my Spider-Man career was done. That was fun. Damn, I really wanted to keep doing it. And Steve said to me, I want you on the main book. And I was like, pfft. So he gave me one condition. I had to give up Mighty Avengers because he knows I'm very slow, and 2 books a month is my speed. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll drop Mighty. And it's a longer story because I was tormented for a day about whether I should drop Mighty or not. And my dad said, "What, are you crazy? You get to write Spider-Man." I'm like, you're right. But yeah, so I kind of know the only way I could have gotten on the book was in that system, in that way. And that's, yeah. So, but the one question is like, are you happy? Yeah, I'm happy. I think there's a big difference in life with, are you happy and are you satisfied? I think a great way to have success in whatever you're doing is to never be satisfied. Never be satisfied be happy with what you have, but don't be satisfied with what you have. Always want more. Always want to get more. Always want to take what you're doing further. Always want to learn more and grow more. Never be satisfied with where you are. Be happy with where you are, but always want to go to that next place, to go to that next level, to do that next thing. Because the minute you stop doing that, the minute you feel you're phoning it in and screw you, get off the book and let someone else take a shot. So, I can't wait for you guys to see what we're going to do next. Well, let me, you, sir. And I blame Silver Surfer for this. I don't blame myself, even though it's all my fault. With Spider-Verse, I was on the ball with everything, and I was ahead of the game. And with the crossovers and this, I would give lots of notes, and I would give lots of this. Spider-Verse has been like holding a tiger by the tail and going, oh my God, here's a new script coming in. Yes, no, wait, And some of my calls have been horrible and not listened to, which is good. Originally, Spider-Verse was going to run during the Superior run, where the Venom arc and the 2099 arc was. That was going to be Spider-Verse. And it was really going to be about Doc Ock leading an army of Peter Parkers to do this stuff. And everyone was cool with it for one retreat, for 2 retreats, and then when we were months away from doing it, mere months away, that the next issue was going to have, that story that ran the Free Comic Book Day? That was ripped out of a comic and thrown into the future. That it was going to run like the month after this one retreat. It was ready. It was drawn. That thing sat in a drawer because it was going to go the next month to tease up Spider-Verse. When we were that close to starting, Axel Alonso had second thoughts. He went, wait a minute. Peter Parker doesn't show up till the very end? Because, when Venom, when he rips off the Venom suit and Ghost Peter, something similar, you were going to get a similar beat where Ghost Peter was going to appear again at the end of Spider-Verse. I'm like, yeah. So Peter Parker isn't physically in Spider-Verse. I'm like, Ghost Peter at the very end, but Peter Parker isn't in Spider-Verse. I'm like, there's 1,000 Peter Parkers in Spider-Verse. And then Axel Alonso said one of the most brilliant things, because there are times when, Axel's in the, he's cool. He's when you read all the stuff when he was the editor on the X-Men line, it was a cool run X-Men that kind of went strange places and did cool things. I like his, the reason you're getting all this cool new stuff in Marvel now, books that are as diverse as Miss Marvel and the new Ghost Rider and this crazy new Ant-Man book, so much of this, the credit of that goes to Axel. He has these great sensibilities, but they're usually not fan driven, they're not usually like, and I am so fan-ish in the way my brain works. I am such a Marvel fan. And he said to me something that should have come out of my mouth. When he said that, he went, but that's, and I said, there's 1,000 Peter Parkers in this. He went, but not the real Peter Parker. And then everyone agreed with him. Oh, you can't give away the Superior Spider-Man story. You can't give away Spider-Verse to Doc Ock. If you do that, it's a Peter Parker story. And everyone agreed with him. And I was like, but, and they're like, save it. Do it when Peter comes back. So I came up with the 2099 story. And I came up with a way which was written so that we could shove Superior Spider-Man back in later to create a time loop. So we could bring him in so he could still be in Spider-Verse and do the things I needed him to do in Spider-Verse. And then did the Venom story so we could have the moment with Ghost Pete at the end so I could get, because I still needed that beat. But that's where Spider-Verse was going to go. So Spider-Verse is a story that I've wanted to do for some time. And because of that, there's certain things in my head that are like, when you want something a certain way. And I'd even written like one of the chapters of Spider-Verse that we didn't use. I cannibalized parts of it for Amazing 9. But there is a sequence when Last Stand Old Man Spider-Man shows up and Ben Reilly shows up and Spider-Gwen shows up. That was written over a year before Jason Latour wrote Spider-Gwen. And in my mind, I knew how Spider-Gwen looked. And she looked like, the last night of Gwen Stacy with the green trench coat. And imagine that outfit, but with red webs on it and blue and like a half Spider-Man mask, and black go-go boots. And, that's what I wanted Spider-Gwen to look like. And when Robbie's sketch showed up, I was like a little kid, like, no. That's not Spider-Gwen. No, it's the coolest freaking costume. Robbie designed one of the coolest spider costumes of all time. And I was like, no, because it wasn't the thing in my head. And see, you would never have gotten the awesome Spider-Gwen if I'd been ahead of schedule and on top of things the way I was in Spider Island. If all these wonderful things happened that never would have happened if I was on the ball. All these magical bits of alchemy, like Spider-Punk wouldn't have happened. Spider-Punk wouldn't have happened. Spider-Gwen wouldn't have happened that way. The reason why Jason wrote it was he wanted to do a story in one of the Spider-Verse anthologies about, he came up with this idea, Uncle Ben with spider powers. And he wanted to write the story of that Spider-Man. And, Nick had to go back and tell him, you can't do that story. Uncle Ben with spider powers is an important character, and he's already in Spider-Verse, and Dan has plans. And Jason was like, shucks. What can I do? And Nick's like, what could he do? And I'm like, well, we got Spider-Gwen. We haven't seen the world where she comes from. Maybe he could do a story with Spider-Gwen. And they're like, Jason, would you like to do a story about where Spider-Gwen comes from? He's like, yeah. And he did it, and it was awesome. But the weird thing was, the way he did it wasn't the way I thought it was going to be done. So I had to suddenly make changes because what was done in a one-shot. And the way Dennis Hopeless wrote stuff in Spider-Woman didn't match up with the way I wanted to do things in this issue, so I had to change stuff in the lead story. So I was constantly like changing and ducking and weaving and moving because what guys were doing in the crossovers, and usually it's the other way around. But because of it's an experience like I've never had before working on an event, where usually I'd just be like Spider Island. I was on top of that fucker. And Spider-Verse has just been like being on a roller coaster and someone forgot to lower the bar. And you're just like, holy shit. Okay, but it's all been coming together and it's all been working. And, oh, hey, look at that little bit of magic that just worked. That was cool. The way Spider-Punk happened is, imagine, reading Amazing Spider-Man 9, and whenever Spider UK showed up, put Spider-Punk there instead. That was the art that all came in. And I'm going through the art, and it's gorgeous Olivier Coipel art. And I'm going, oh, my God, this is beautiful. And then I send Nick a note like, where's Spider UK? I don't see Spider UK anywhere because he's supposed to look like the Spider-Man of the Captain Britain Corps, and we even did like a loose little sketchy thing. And then we get in touch with Olivier, and he's like, "No, that's him." I'm like, the punk? Yeah, he's British, but he's all punk. No, he's not. That's not the way he is in my head. And that fight I won. So Olivier went in and redrew Spider UK and took out Spider-Punk. But he was so upset because he really liked that design. And I'm like, dude, I love Spider. That's a great looking design. We'll bring that Spider into the Spider-Verse. We'll make him one of Doc Ock's henchmen. Okay. And he's like, he'll be all over it, we promise. So like I never had Spider-Punk in any of my drafts. And then suddenly I put him in there to make Olivier happy because he did this awesome character design. And now everyone loves Spider-Punk. And that's out of the mind of Olivier Coipel. And me holding on to the tiger, going, damn, which is crazy. I'm never doing one of these again. We're after Spider-Verse, there's 3 issues. There's a 3-issue story. I think you've already seen solicits for some of them. Because one thing's it's fun to go crazy and do Spider-Verse and do this Crisis on Infinite Earth, Super Wars of the Spider-Men, but but it's a departure. There's 50 years of Spider-Man stories. It's okay to do this once in a while. But Spider-Man's about street level, and Spider-Man's about Peter Parker's life, and Aunt May, and J. Jonah Jameson, and all these other guys. You want to see what's happening with Betty and MJ and all you haven't been seeing any of that really with any of the 616 characters in Spider-Verse. So before we go into Secret Wars, I just wanted to take a deep dive and go, hey, here's everybody at Parker Industries. Here's what Sajani's doing. Here's what Aunt May's doing. Here's what Anna Maria's doing. Here's, and just really touch base and go, here's this world. And if you are reading Learning to Crawl, we have Clayton Cole, and he got worked into the cast now, where he is, ex-supervillain, ex-henchman. He's getting a second chance. Peter gave him a job at Parker Industries. So here's Clayton Cole at Parker Industries. And that's fun. So we're doing 3 issues of that, and then we go into Secret Wars, and then we do Renew Your Vows. And I just got the pencils on the first pages of that from Kubert. It looks good. It looks so good. Who hasn't asked the question yet? Harley Quinn bathrobe.
What is your favorite part about writing a character off of a comic?
You're writing them out?
Yeah. Favorite part about writing them out?
Writing them out.
Make the decision to get rid of them out of the comic.
It's tricky. Like anyone who's read my Mighty Avengers, it's not really a team book, is it? It's Hank Pym and his buddies. I've yet to really write a team book because I like focusing on a character. Sometimes if a character draws too much focus, because you're reading Spider-Man, you're not reading it for Mary Jane, you're reading it for Peter Parker. You're not reading it for Aunt May, you're reading it for Peter Parker or Harry or anybody. So every now and then, if a character I feel is drawing too much focus and had a big arc, it's fun to write them out for a while because you have to keep refocusing the book and make it about Peter Parker's life and Spider-Man. And every time you want to, and Peter Parker, by being a character who's been around for 50 years, has so many facets to him, so many aspects. And sometimes it's fun to write an aspect of Peter away. You know what? We've had 50 years of stories where Peter Parker has had money problems. Let's forget that for a while. Now he has a great job. He has a dream job at Horizon or Parker Labs. And now we can focus on other stuff because I've seen so many stories where Peter can't pay the rent. Let's not worry about that for a while. Let's focus on other things. We can always get back to that. There are other facets. Sometimes it's fun to write, to examine a different facet of Spider-Man. There have been times where I've written Spider-Man stories where something will happen to Spider-Man and it's deadly serious by the end of it. And I have made these pronouncements in the retreats where I go, after this happens, it's such a serious moment in Spider-Man's life that he's not going to joke for a while. Like after Gwen Stacy died, he was very somber in his book for a while. He wasn't, when he was fighting villains, he wasn't making quips. He was just punching people out. He was mad. He was angry. The world was unfair. You know, people were now blaming Spider-Man for Norman Osborn's death, and he was suffering from Gwen's loss. And there's a period in the book where he did not make jokes. And every now and then, I'd hit some kind of part of my run where I want it to have that feel for a change. And I'll go in the retreats and I'll say, when you're writing Spider-Man, when he appears in your books, because of this, he is not quipping. No quipping. He's deadly serious right now. And every writer in that room goes, sure, Dan, sure. Because they're writing Spider-Man in their books, and they love Spider-Man. And if they're writing Spider-Man, he's going to fucking quip. You know? It would be like someone saying to you, like, okay, you get to write Batman, but he can't be in costume. Okay, have fun. You know? It's like, no, when you're working in the Marvel Universe, there are times people just want to do their thing. It's tough. It's tough. The retreats where I'm saying, yeah, he's Doc Ock for a year and a half. There are fights. No, he's not. Because they're like, I want to use Spider-Man in my books, and I don't want to use Doc Ock. I don't want to use Doc Ock in my book. I want to write Spider-Man. I've waited all my life to work in Marvel Comics, and now I'm working on this book, and I want Spider-Man to guest star, and I want him to be Spider-Man. How about he's just Spider, like a magic switch goes off in his head, and Doc Ock takes a back seat for while he's in my issue of Commander whatever. Like, no, he's Doc Ock. No magic switch. Screw you. He's Doc Ock. And there were fights like that, and all those fights stopped when one thing happened. When Superior Spider-Man came out, and Daredevil crossed over and used Superior, and Journey into Mystery came out and crossed over and used Superior with Sif, and the sales on those books shot dramatically up. They just went pew, and they all went to second printings, and oh my God, and the minute that happened, everyone's like, yeah, okay, we'll use Superior. Hey, you in the back. I don't. They don't. You look at Silver Surfer, man. We keep missing months, and it's not Mike Allred. Mike Allred is always on time. Laura Allred is always on time. That book misses shipping because of me. Because when push comes to shove, Marvel wants the issue of Amazing Spider-Man to come out more than they want Surfer, because Amazing's going to make them a lot more money. Ever since Amazing's come back, the book has been a 90K to past 100K seller. It's been Marvel's best-selling book. They do not want a month going by where they're only putting out one issue of that book. It brings in revenue. You know, they came to me at one point and said, "Can we do 2 more issues of Superior? We know Amazing is back, but we want some extra revenue for this month because something happened in that month. So can you do 2 issues of Superior?" And I'm like, you know what? We can make them lead-ins to Spider-Verse. Really? Yeah. We have this thing where we'll do stories about what he's doing in the year 2099, where we left him, and we'll do 2 more issues of Superior. And they're like, oh, thank God. You know, Marvel loves that. And if Surfer misses, they're a little upset, but they'd be way more upset. I remember there was a month where a whole bunch of mainstream, some of Marvel's best-selling titles all missed shipping this one month. There's this one month, a couple years ago, where almost all the mainstream biggest Marvel selling titles all missed shipping that one month. And when you look at the sales charts, for ages, consistently, Marvel dominates. Marvel just dominates every single month, except usually in September, where DC throws everything in the kitchen sink in September. They want to win one freaking month. Villains month, 3D covers month. You know, every September they're like, we have to win a month. So and we're very like you know, almost like a sports team, like rallying, you know, at these retreats, going like, look how well we've been doing. Yay, Marvel, yay. Yeah. But there's this one magic month where everything missed shipping, everyone was going slow, and all your favorite titles, all the A-list titles that bring in the biggest sales, all missed. And I was working on Mighty Avengers, and it was probably going to be one of the biggest selling titles that was going to come out, because That issue of Avengers didn't come out on time. That issue of Spider-Man wasn't coming out on time. So you go down the totem, and there was Mighty Avengers. It was going to be one of the highest selling that month. And I was running late because I'm a very slow writer. And I was running late. And I say to Tom Brevoort, my editor, I don't think I'm going to make it. I think we're going to miss. I don't think I can have this issue scripted in time for when it should go out on Friday. I'm going slow. I'm sorry. And Tom went, you don't understand. You are the best-selling title this week. You will come out. I'm like, I don't have it all done. I will run blank pages. You'll have issues of Avengers where people aren't speaking. That book will leave. I'm like, so I just didn't sleep and ate lots of junk food and drank lots of coffee and blah, blah, and that issue of Avengers went out because it was going out. It's a job. It's fun, but it's a job, and you got to be professional and you got to get your work done. When I didn't mean to pitch Silver Surfer, I did not mean to pitch it because I was like, I'm doing 2 issues of Spider-Man. I'm usually 2 issues a month guy, maybe sometimes a little extra. And we were at a retreat, and coming out of Infinity, one of the things on the agenda was we're doing this big cosmic event book. Maybe after Infinity, we could roll out some cosmic books. Where we've elevated Guardians. Let's expand the Marvel cosmic universe. And the first name on the list was Silver Surfer. We should do a Silver Surfer book. And I'm at that retreat, and the first comics I ever bought were Spider-Man. But the first Marvel comics I ever read, my cousin lent me his issues of Fantastic Four, and he started me on the Galactus trilogy. Those are the first superhero books I ever read. So the first guy I met, the Silver Surfer, the way people met him in the 60s. He was one of the first Marvel guys I ever read. And I was like, I love Silver Surfer. So we're in that retreat, and everyone's pitching Silver Surfer ideas for how they would do a Silver Surfer book. And I am shutting up. Because I'm like, I'm doing 2 Spider-Man a month. That's all I can do. And I was just sitting there. It was hurting not to pitch Silver Surfer. And all these people are pitching Silver Surfer, and none of the pitches were hitting. None of them felt right. And at the end, Axel went, you know what? Let's table this. No one has a good take on the Surfer yet. We are only going to do this book. And this is the way it is with all the Marvel books. If we can't do it right, we're not going to do it. Let's sit on it. Maybe someone will hit on an idea. Let's percolate. We'll table that one. You wouldn't believe, seriously, everyone at Marvel wants to put out the best work they can. Like Civil War wasn't planned to be where it was. Originally, World War Hulk was going to go there. And Joe Quesada at one of the meetings went, you know what? He hasn't been on Sakaar long enough. He hasn't really had this big adventure. It's almost like we just left him there. We should take a year. And Greg, you can, flesh out Sakaar and flesh out Hulk's journey more. Let's see him go from Gladiator to King. And let's see more of, what's his name? Planet Hulk. Let's do Planet Hulk for a year. And that's why that happened that way. And suddenly there was a hole in the schedule because the World War Hulk event was going to go there. And everyone got together, and what are we going to do? And people threw out the idea of Civil War. And then everyone got excited about it, and everyone started working on it. And by the end of that retreat, everyone was so pumped about Civil War, and everyone felt so good about it. Marvel is as much as I was joking earlier about how it's a business, it's about business putting out the best damn comics we can. And everyone working on it is very passionate. I totally got sidetracked. So no one felt Surfer was ready. So we tabled it. And I was talking with Brevoort on the phone that weekend, and we were kind of catching up and going like, here's how do you think the retreat went? And we were talking about how we thought it went. And then at one point we went like, what'd you think of those Surfer pitches? And we were like, it didn't really work. And he's like, how would you do it? And I thought we were just bullshitting like the way friends do. I thought we were just like shooting the breeze. And, well, I'd do it like this, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, during one of the breaks, I pulled Mark Waid aside, and I told him he should pitch Surfer, and I told him the exact same thing, this thing you just said. And I go, really? Like, Tom and I think a lot alike. And he goes, yeah. And I go, how would you edit it? And he's like, well, if we were starting from there, I would suggest we do this. And I went, oh, if you did that, you could do this. And then suddenly we were just two geeks on the phone. And we suddenly, like, we looked up and we'd been talking about Silver Surfer for hours and what we would do on our imaginary Silver Surfer book. And then there was a long pause on the phone, and Tom goes, write it up. I'm like, what do you mean write it up? Write it up. I want to edit that book. I'm like, I cannot write I'm writing Spider-Man twice a month. You know, I'm the slowest guy in the world. I am not going to. You'll make it work. Well, how am I? You'll find a way to make it work. And the way we find to make it work is I don't sleep, and I work all the time, and I eat lots of junk food and drink lots of coffee, and I got fatter than I ever have in my life, sitting my ass at this table typing all the time. But whenever I'm writing Surfer, I'm the happiest motherfucker in the world. I'm just so happy working on Silver Surfer, and working with Mike Allred and Laura Allred is just, it's a dream. And every page that comes in, I'm so happy. It all works. So yeah, so to answer your question, it doesn't. Spider-Man gets out on time, Surfer does not, and it's been the ugly stepchild for the schedule. This convention, we got out that issue of Spider-Man, and the thing that got bumped, Surfer's now bumped a week. I should have been working on Surfer, and I was working on Spider-Man. It's a good issue of Surfer, though. Yes. You're only getting one part, and then I'm going to someone else. Okay.
Spider-Man first started out.
Yes.
Why did you have that thing between Hawk and Mary Jane?
At the very beginning, because I wanted it off the table right away, because it's creepy. It's damn creepy. Because here's the thing, who Doc Ock is in Amazing Spider-Man 700 is different than who he is in Superior, because of what Peter Parker does in his final moment of sacrifice. What Peter Parker does, that when he activates all those memories, he leaves the world a hero instead of a villain, a very messed up hero, much closer to a Wolverine or a Punisher or a Solo or a Fool Killer, but a hero nonetheless. That's his one minor victory, is that he leaves the world a Doc Ock Spider-Man who finally knows that with great power, and he didn't know that before. So while it's fun in Spider-Man 698 and 699 and 700, when Doc Ock is clearly a villain, to have him doing something a villain would do in someone else's body. Him going, oh, wow, I have a shot at Mary Jane now. I'm going to take it, ha, 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 because he's a villain. But once he knows that with great power comes great responsibility, there should be part of him that knows you don't do that. So we wanted right off the bat, once we showed you that here's the first Superior Spider-Man story, and here's Ghost Peter, the next damn story we were doing is taking Mary Jane off the table, showing why that doesn't work with this version of Spider-Man. And also, when you look at the overarch of everything in Superior Spider-Man, this was a story that I pitched to them going, when we hit issue 700, Spider-Man is canceled. We come back with number 1, it's Superior. And we run with Superior all the way up to the second Amazing Spider-Man movie, when there's going to be 1 million people out there getting all this free publicity and all these posters and all these movie trailers and everyone going, Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. That's when we bring back Peter Parker. That was always part of the plan. So what I was telling, even though I knew it was going to be 31 to 32 issues, I knew it was going to be 31 to 32 issues that told a complete arc. And a big part of that arc was Otto Octavius falling in love with Anna Maria Marconi. So we had to get her onto the canvas ASAP, and we had to get MJ off that canvas ASAP. So that's where that story happened the way it did, because there was a master plan. Is that 5 seconds or 5 minutes? 5 minutes. Okay, another question. Yes.
Marvel likes to have these huge events, and do they affect your story? Like, for example, with the character Silk, was that something you had in mind for a while, or was that
No. No, with Marvel events, I had avoided them for so long, and a lot of the reason why is because we work so far ahead that by the time we already have issues in place and there's the event going, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't take place in it. We've already laid out all the track, and the trains are all on the track, and people are already drawing stories. So they'll call up Chris Gage or Chris Yost and go, dude, you want to do Spider-Man Inhumanity? Do you want to do Spider-Man Fear Itself? And we'll do it as a side project. And with Original Sin, we had it so far ahead, Tom Brevoort said to me, you can't avoid it this time. Spider-Man is an important character in the Marvel Universe. This is a Marvel event. Spider-Man needs to be a part of it, and we need to see it's so important that it takes place in Amazing Spider-Man. We do not want to do an Original Sin Spider-Man crossover. And they offered me, they said, if we really want to, you can do it. But I was very scared of Original Sin because the idea is that everyone has this hidden secret. And if I wasn't writing that Original Sin secret, it scared the hell out of me to think of someone else coming in and doing it. I didn't want to find out that Uncle Ben was secretly a pedophile, I don't want some other guy writing some story where Aunt May was, knocking over banks or some shit. I didn't want some horrible secret that I wasn't in control of. So I was like, I want to be the guy to write that. And they're like, okay, well, you have to have that in Amazing Spider-Man. And they said it had to be something big. It had to be something that just rocked everybody's world. A secret that either happened to Spider-Man, one of his friends, one of his family, or a secret that had been kept from him. And like, what's the biggest thing you could do? And I was like, and I went into the room and I pitched, after the spider bit Peter, it bit somebody else. All this time there's been a second spider. And everyone went, whoa! It got like the biggest reaction. Axel immediately loved it. And my plan was to do it as an annual over here. To keep telling my Black Cat Electro story, and the Silk would be a standalone annual. And Axel was, no, this is too good for an annual. Do not just piss this away on an annual. This is a major character. This is going to be huge. Okay. So then I went in, I retooled things, and I just like, yeah, okay. And it was fun. It was great. Umberto did a great design. It was and you have the question, how has this character been hidden for so long, and who is this character? And it just became more and more fun to develop it. I love there's so many like continuity hounds are like, you can't tell that story because of the 1,000 or the million, like that other story. I'm like, no, that's the guy who found the dead spider. Didn't mean it couldn't have bitten someone before it died. He bit him, bit her, eaten by that guy. Done. Whatever. And you'll notice that Peter still doesn't kind of believe it. There's a line in Amazing Spider-Man where he goes, like, she claims she was bitten by the... Yeah, Peter does. Peter's like a lot of you guys. Peter doesn't believe it. It happened. Who hasn't asked a question yet? Who wants to ask a question? You haven't asked a question yet? You asked a question. You asked a question? Okay. You've asked two. You.
Pretty much with, the renewing the battles, what comes, because we all know what's happening at the end. Like, we've all seen promos for it.
Oh, you think you know what's happening.
So, like, with renewing the battles, how does that look like?
How does it work, Ken? That's a very good question that I will not answer. You've had two. I'm not asking. You're not getting another one. You're not getting a third. He hasn't had two yet.
2015 or 2016?
Well, no, he wants to know when we're seeing Norman Osborn again because we saw him leave at the end of Goblination.
They weren't able to use an access.
No, they weren't. They weren't. Oh, that was fun. Rick Remender kept telling everyone his plans for Access. Oh, we're going to use the biggest villains, and this guy's going to do this, and this guy's going to do this, and the Goblin's going to do this. And I'd be like, Rick, you can't use the Goblin. We just set him up with the new status quo. He's going off. Oh, okay. And then this guy's doing this, and this guy's doing it. And then the next time he'd pitch it, he'd go, because we keep having these meetings. And then the Green Goblin's going to do this. I'm like, Rick, we talked about this. Goblin's new status quo. We're moving him off panel for a while. When he comes back, it'll be a big surprise. You can't, no. Oh, okay. Next time he pitches it. And then Green Goblin does it. I'm like, dude, okay. we are not using Carnage. Would you like Carnage? One of the biggest Spider-Man villains ever. One of the most evil Spider-Man that'll be cool. He's like, that would be cool. I can use Carnage? Yeah. Yep, dude, use Carnage. And then he's pitching it, and he goes, okay. And then in Axis, Carnage does this, and Green Goblin does this. I'm like, dude! Every freaking time. And then I'm like, no. I'm like, dude, you want a Hobgoblin? Do you want Hobgoblin? We're not using Hobgoblin. And he's like, all right. So you can have Carnage and Hobgoblin. And then they draw the art, and I see the art, and I'm like, it's not? Jesus Christ, man. And they're like, we'll color it like the Goblin. We'll fix it in the Hobgoblin. We'll fix it in the trade. Rick is hysterical because Rick is like, we should use all the pieces and all the this, and everyone's got to do this. Look, I want to write real Dr. Doom. I want to write real Magneto. I want to write. And then it's like, can we do this with the Red Skull? Screw you! I'm kidding, but it's like we get very territorial about certain things, and sometimes it's hard to share the toys. But I'm like that too, because listen to me. You can't use the Goblin. Green Goblin is mine. It's kind of fun. You do get territorial. One more question, even though they're saying we can't. Yeah. I think it was a story we all knew was going to be controversial. That I understand the thinking behind why everyone did it, and I understand why a lot of fans are angry about it to this day. I see where everyone is coming from. I see where the people are coming from who made the choice to do it. I understand why they did it. I understand why some fans are still mad. That's a tricky one. I know that with everything that I've written, I treat that like a hot potato. I just try to not go near it and just go forward and tell the stories I want to tell, because I know, and I think One Moment in Time showed this, that anytime you try to go back to it, it doesn't make the people who are angry happy, and it doesn't make the people who are cool with it have any more fun. We are where we are. So it's weird. I think one of the problems is I think a lot of people love Mary Jane, but I think a lot of people like the idea of Mary Jane more than Mary Jane. When you read the John Romita Sr. issues, she's this vibrant, cool character. And I think something happened to that character, the real Mary Jane, the Mary Jane we all know, the second she got married. Not just to Peter, but to her character, she became a different character. Suddenly they went back and did these backstories about why she was a party girl. And they gave her all this backstory and all this stuff. And to me, it kind of robbed the character of the spark of what made Mary Jane so much fun as a character. And then she kind of stopped being Mary Jane, and she became the person who waited by the window crying, hoping Peter would come back. And that's not that girl I know in the go-go boots who's dancing in the shiny dress and the coffee bean. No, that's... You read classic Mary Jane stories, and there's something so cool about it. And you read the wedding stories, the marriage stories, and I'm very... You ask people what are their favorite Mary Jane stories from the wedding years, and they always seem to pick these three stories. Craven's Last Hunt, with her waiting and worried, and those are great. And the Matt Fraction story on top of the Empire State Building. And there'll be like one other story here or there. But outside of that, they can't really name you that story they really loved or cared about. They just like the idea, like a security blanket, that this is the character that's been with them for 25 years. And Spider-Man's been married for 25 years. And that's the Spider-Man they knew. And that's when they read Spider-Man. And now it's different. And why did you make it different? It's like when you go to your favorite restaurant and they keep making the burger the same way and now there's no pickle. Why'd you do that? There's something almost like Sheldon Cooper-ish where I like it this way. But if you just do things that way, it gets boring. It's the reason why Peter Parker isn't a photographer anymore. You know, that it's like if we saw 50 years of stories of Peter turning in more pictures of Spider-Man to screaming J. Jonah Jameson, you'd be like, I've read that. You know, there's back issue bins that are filled with the stories you want to read. It's more fun, I think, if you go somewhere different. That's the biggest challenge of writing a licensed character, is you want to give the same but different. You want to have, some people call it the illusion of change. If you reach the point as a fan where you're calling the story you like the illusion of change, you're spending too much time on the TV Tropes website. Just enjoy the frickin' stories. You know, at some point, it's not about, you don't want to be if you get to the point where you're watching the magic show and you're not enjoying it and you're only trying to think about how the trick was done and you're obsessed about it and you're not enjoying the magic trick and going, wow, you might be a little too jaded for magic shows. You know, it might, okay, what a downer note. Someone asked one more question. Not you. Yes.
I remember reading that.
I love you.
I remember reading that you said you focused on Ock because Goblin was in a lot of the Avengers arcs at the time. Was Superior supposed to be?
Oh no, the reason why I focused on Ock with like Spidey 600, the original reason was Norman was taken up. If I had my druthers for 600, I probably would have done a Spidey Goblin battle. But the reason why the brain swap was Otto was because I work Marvel style. So I write an issue, I write everything I want the artist to draw, and then I get the art back, and then I add all the dialogue in. So in a weird way, I write every issue twice. So the idea of Superior was never Spider-Man's brain swaps with an enemy. That was never the idea of Superior. The idea of Superior was I was writing 600, and I noticed Doc Ock had found out he had a year left to live. He's using his brain to take over all the machines in New York, the way he controls his mechanical arms. He's doing so all of New York, all the machines in New York are out to kill Spider-Man. And at one point, Spider-Man, to get all the machines in New York to calm the hell down, he puts on the brainwave helmet and he controls all the machines. And when I was writing that, I wrote that in the plot. But when I wrote the script and I'm looking at the art, I'm looking at it with fresh eyes, and I went, wait a minute, you're Spider-Man, you know your worst enemy, you know that he's dying in a year and that he's a mad scientist, and you just put all your brain waves into his thought helmet? That's the stupidest thing you could have done, Spider-Man. Seconds before he dies now, he's going to use his mad scientist skills to swap brains with you, and you'll die in his body, and holy crap, that's Spider-Man 700. That's how it happened. So it was always Doc Ock's last-minute master plan. It was never Spider-Man swips with any villain. That's where the story came from. So it was always going to be Doc Ock.